Hi, I'm Darren.
Hi, I'm Gordon.
And we're the two gay reefers.
Hey Reefers, this week we ended up at Nick's Aquarium, our channel sponsor, and lo and behold, he had a ladies' night. Now these nights are particularly targeted towards the female reefing community, so they can get together, share their passion, and just socialise. On this particular night, Nick decided to drag myself up on stage with no prior warning, so we could do a fragging demo. I think we covered some awesome information during the presentation, so we thought we'd share this with all our followers. Hope you enjoy!
What we want to talk about is obviously propagating corals, which is pretty easy to do. Anyone can do it in their reef tank at home, but we'll touch on a couple of different subjects. As far as dipping your corals, it's very important. It doesn't matter where you buy your corals from, you should always dip them. So this is part of the procedure that me and Ashton do late nights after we've been up to the coral wholesalers, collecting coral, choosing all that sort of stuff. So generally what we do when we get our corals back is we float them, get the temperature right, have some water from our systems, and then we add some water from the bags into those systems, into here. Generally then we use a coral dip. There's a number of ones available in the market. You can use Revive, you can use API Melifix, and then you can use the Coral RX. They're really good coral dips, but for what we're doing here for propagating coral, you want the Seachem Reef Dip. So that's really good when you're chopping the coral apart because it's actually iodine based, so then that way it's helping heal any wounds that you're basically creating. So what species of coral are we chopping up tonight?
We've got a Pocky,
beautiful little pink Pocky, and what's this one here?
Duncan,
one of your favourites, and what's the other species we've got?
the Monty.
Beautiful. Other thing that's very important when handling any coral, ideally you want to be wearing gloves, eye protection, especially when fragging, because you don't want any juices or any fragments getting into your eye or into your open hands. So we shall start chopping this up. A number of tools that you can use. You can use like these particular type of bone cutters. These are really good for acro, Monty, all that sort of stuff, especially Duncan's as well. You can also get other cutting tools like this guy here. There's a difference in between these two, as you can see. This guy has teeth, so you can really get in there to break that coral up. These are good as well, especially if you're chopping through like little flesh. We normally have scalpels, all the other little tools as well that you can get in there. Then of course you can get your electrical saws and chop them all up if you're doing lots, but we didn't want to bring that out tonight because I broke the blade a few weeks ago, so waiting for that to come. So hand this off to the master coral fragger, Darren from the Two Gay Reefers.
Good, Darren. Okay, so straight away on the Duncan, there's quite a bit of old tissue here that, well, you can see the tissue's receded. So on the bottom, you can see it's nice and smooth till it gets up here where it's all nice and rough. So that's all dead. So basically want to get rid of that. Maybe. I've never used these before.
So what I like to do with those is you can also almost use those like a saw. So you can get in, this is a piece here, you can get onto there and then twist it like that. That really helps with getting into that coral. So then that way you can break it off a little bit easier, which is good, especially in your thick parts. Just like that, comes off. So yeah.
It's a 3D show.
Yeah, it's not it's not a delicate job. So yeah.
Getting rid of all this. Isn't too bad, it's just a couple, and especially with things like Duncan, a lot of their old tissue has things like vermeted snails and stuff like that, which really get into the healthy stuff when you put it back in your tank and then it multiplies again, and then you go, oh, my Duncan's not opening up anymore.
Yep.
It's because it's got vermeted snails or other pests on there, so it's always good to make sure you get rid of the dead stuff before you when you're fragging. So
break it up.
And Duncan's very easy. It's just like, as long as you're not cutting through a head, just cut off nice little bits with 2 or 3 pieces on like that.
So what we're doing here is we're just basically putting the coral disinfectant in the water. It's really good just to circulate that around. Sometimes what we use here as well in store is we have like a little power head, put that into the dipping container so it's circulating, especially for any pests that are coming in, because your pests will actually cling onto the coral. So with that, the water flow will actually help get underneath that pest and lift them off. Other useful tools that you can use like a turkey baster to get in there, especially on a lot of LPS and SPS. You can blast into there with the coral dip, and then also any sponge and all that sort of stuff with a toothbrush or scrubbing brush, you can scrub that off. It's very hard, isn't it? That's right. So it's always a good sign too when corals are very difficult to break apart, because you know that they've had the right calcium, alkalinity, and magnesium in the water, because corals become very brittle and unstable when you don't have that right ratio. So that means that Chelsea's been doing a really good job of dosing out systems.
Good thing about Duncan as well is that it will grow over dead skeletons. So I've had Duncan regrow in dead heads before, so you lose a head or two, just leave it there. If the rest of it's still going well, it'll actually go back and recolonise.
The other thing good to do as well is just to clean your tools in between species of coral, so that way you're not getting the slime from them on each other, which is good as well. Oh, he went across the floor.
It is easier. I just dip it out as I love Pocky as well. It's nice and fuzzy when you get it in your tank. Has lots of polyp extensions.
Fragged quite easily. Duncan is a very easy coral as well to look after. So they might look a little bit gnarly now, but in a few weeks they're going to look quite good if you keep your tank nice and stable. Chuck some gloves on and some eye protection and you can give it a go. Who wants to volunteer? I'm going to pick somebody. Come on. Super simple.
So I would say this is going to pretty much shatter. So I'd probably start with just a cut there sort of thing, and I'll probably break them too. There you go.
Perfect. Yeah, it's a lot easier than you think it is.
So yeah, you just like probably cut it like a cake sort of thing.
Yep.
No?
Yeah, good work. Yeah, good.
So as you can see with Monty, it looks thicker than it actually is. As you can see, it's quite thin in places. It has little pockets as well. I always find when you get it home, just check those pockets, check underneath for any gaps, because that's where the pests hide. So you get little pockets like that. You often get like 2 layers of rock as well, so you can get rid of any extra rock that's under there as well, just to make it easier to mount in your tank.
Dip for about 15 to 20 minutes, and then what you want to do is you want to rinse them off in some clean water before they go into your tank, because you don't want any of your reef dips getting into your system, because they can make your skimmer go crazy. So it's very important that we rinse them. So this is just normal tank water from our system, clean water. We'll rinse them off, and then by the end of the night we'll have them bagged up, ready for you ladies to go. So before you go, come see us, and then we can bag them up, and then go from there. So enjoy your food and drinks, and keep mingling and have fun.
Anyway, if you've enjoyed today's video, like, comment and subscribe.
Like, comment and subscribe.
Like, comment and subscribe. And as always, be excellent to each other and keep it salty, everyone. Bye for now.
See you guys.